Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea, and this is a special sort of breaking news video that's big enough for us to warrant doing our own kind of live stream about to talk about it. Guys, listen, one of the most popular characters in the MCU, of course, has been Thor. Now, Thor is a character who struggled a little bit. Not enough people appreciated Thor 1, which I think is one of the more underrated comic books of all time. The second Thor, not so good, but then all of a sudden, Thor 3, Thor Ragnarok came out. People loved it. Then Thor was in Infinity War. He was the standout other than maybe Thanos in Infinity War, and people seemed to like the gimmick they went with in Endgame as well. And so, you know, a lot of talk was going around that Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., and Chris Hemsworth were going to be done, finished in their respective roles as Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor. But then there were some whispers going around. Tessa Thompson talked about she thought she heard they were maybe working on a Thor 4. There were some talks that maybe secretly Chris Hemsworth had signed an extension to his deal. But then again, we had Taika Waititi working on Akira coming out. What's going on? Well, it is now official, guys. Thor 4 is happening. It is coming. And Taika Waititi himself is returning to write and direct Thor 4. Now, this is coming to us in an exclusive report from the Hollywood Reporter, who talk about part of the price tag of this is that his highly anticipated Akira film is now indefinitely postponed. And according to the article, there is no guarantee that Taika Waititi is going to be returning to direct it. The article does say that Warner Brothers hopes that maybe Taika Waititi will come back to do Akira after he's done with Thor 4. Akira, of course, was originally supposed to come out May 21st, 2021. No official word if that's going to be the new date for Thor, but apparently Thor 4 is being somewhat fast-tracked, and it's on the way, guys. Listen, I'm not going to try to even pretend to hide my enthusiasm here. I love this news. I love this news. Now, I've been a big fan, like I said a little bit earlier, of the Thor character in the MCU. The first Thor, directed by the great Kenneth Branagh, I think is, other than Man of Steel, probably the second most underappreciated, undervalued comic book film maybe ever made. Man of Steel is the number one most underrated comic book film of all time, but I think the first Thor is the second most underrated comic book film of all time. Again, the second one, Thor: The Dark World, no arguing, it was a step down. Most people acknowledge that. But then Thor 3, with Taika Waititi coming on board, kind of evolving the character into a new direction. The audience loved it. The critics loved it. I believe it sits at something like a 92 or 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Everybody adored it. It was a different kind of Marvel movie. And then we head into Infinity War, where Thor was pretty much the main character, to the point that the Russo brothers even said that in that one of the final scenes of Infinity War, if Thor's axe had hit Thanos in the head instead of in the chest, the Russo brothers said that if that had happened, at the end of the day, Infinity War is a movie about Thor. But it missed, and so it's a movie about Thanos. I love the way they put that. That was interesting. But this is something I believe the fans have wanted ever since they saw Ragnarok, let alone Infinity War and Endgame. The fans have wanted. Now, there was even more speculation that we were going to see Chris Hemsworth comes back with the end of Endgame, with him being on the ship with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And of course, as Guardians of the Galaxy was referenced. And I still think, even with this announcement, I think we are going to find out that Chris Hemsworth is going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I think he will be. Now, they're not saying that. I don't have any official word on that, but I believe he will still be a part of that. But the most important thing to talk about here, of course, is Taika Waititi, who did such a great job with Thor Ragnarok, bringing a completely different, fresh perspective, coming back to write and direct. Now, one of the questions that we're going to have here is, how long has this been in place? How long has this been in place? You know, has this been in the works for 6? Because remember, a lot of times when we get these announcements, the decisions were actually made months earlier, and they're just now revealing it. I don't know how long ago. This is not a decision they just made yesterday. But the question is, how long has this been in the works? We don't know. Has he already started writing Thor 4 at this point? No idea. Are they massive ways? Is Thor 4 going to be a part of Comic-Con? I think it is. That's why they're letting the news out about it right now. It's because Comic-Con starts tomorrow. And I think Thor 4 is going to be a part of that Marvel panel come Saturday. They're going to do two big things. One, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Gunn. And they're going to bring James Gunn on stage. And it's going to be huge. But I also think now that part of it's going to be, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Taika Waititi, and they're going to bring Taika on stage with Chris Hemsworth. They're going to talk about Thor. I'm getting goosebumps. Look at the hair on my arm is standing up. I'm getting all excited just thinking about it. This is magnificent news. The world rejoices. Now listen, guys. You know, I'm sure you guys have a lot of stuff to say about this as well. So we're going to take a few minutes here and we're going to jump over to the live chat and to see what you guys are saying about this news. Taika Waititi is official. For those of you just joining us, it's official. Taika Waititi is coming back to write and direct Thor 4. The unfortunate casualty of this is Akira is now put on hold indefinitely, they're saying. I don't think Akira's been put on hold indefinitely for Thor 4. I think probably Akira was going to be put on hold anyway. I'm just speculating here. I have a feeling there have been rumors about some troubles with them getting things finalized for Akira. I got a feeling that was waning and they took that opportunity to bring him on board for Thor 4. We don't know that for sure. That's just me speculating. But now let's hear from you guys. What do you guys think about this whole thing? We're going to start with Harris, who writes, man, I really wanted Akira to come out first. Look, I know there have been a lot of people that have been waiting a long time to see Akira. I frankly had always been surprised that they were doing it, considering that these conversion live action films have not done well. So, and look, I was very curious to see what Taika Waititi would do with Akira as well, but I will admit, if you gave me as a fan the option, do I want to see Taika Waititi doing Akira or do I want to see Taika Waititi doing Thor 4? I'm probably going to vote for Thor 4. Thor. Jack Leo writes, Phase 4 just keeps getting better and better. They're adding more and more things. I said just this morning, they're going to talk about 6 films at Comic-Con. They're going to talk about Eternals, Black Widow, Doctor Strange and Black Panther 2. They're going to talk about Shang-Chi and they're going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Add to that Thor 4. I really believe they're going to talk about that too. Wade O'Neill writes, with the ending of Endgame and Taika's involvement, this movie could literally go anywhere. I'm excited. Korggasm. I do hope Korg makes an appearance. He was part of the final battle in Endgame. It took my 3rd viewing of it to finally see him. But I think you're absolutely right about that, right? They can literally take this in any direction at this point, and that's intriguing. They want to make an adventure with him on Earth, they could do it. They want to have an intergalactic adventure, they could do it. If they want to have him reestablishing the Asgardians somewhere off Earth, they could do it. If they want to have him doing something else entirely, they can do it. You're absolutely right. With Taika Waititi there, and considering kind of the blank page at the end of Endgame gives us, it really could be about anything, and that's an exciting prospect. Wade also writes, Phase 4 will be announced as Phase Thor at San Diego Comic-Con. Well, you know, one of the things that's been eerily quiet is Captain Marvel. Now, Kevin Feige has said many times that Captain Marvel was going to be at the center of the MCU moving forward, at least into Phase 4. I got a feeling we're going to get some kind of Captain Marvel announcement too, but yeah, I mean, this Phase Thor, why not? It rhymes. Snake Jerusalem writes, does this mean no Asgardians of the Galaxy? I don't think so. I still think we're going to get that. I mean, I don't think it's going to be called Asgardians of the Galaxy. It'll be called Guardians 3. I'm still guessing he'll be a part of it. We'll find out for sure on Saturday when the MCU panel happens. NUFC Adam writes, do you think he'll still be Fat Thor? I hope not. I don't think, yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm over that gimmick. I was over it, you know, a half hour, maybe an hour into Endgame. I was over it. I mean, at first it was funny, then I got over it. But no, I think we'll be back to the Thor we're traditionally used to seeing. I don't know that, but that's my guess. Evelyn writes, they wanted to save this news, or do I think they wanted to save this news for San Diego Comic-Con? No, I think they very strategically are dropping this news now to tee up San Diego Comic-Con. I think that's what they're doing here, and I think they're building up to it, and I still think they've got some surprises for us. What they are, no idea, but I think they still have some surprises for us, Evelyn. All right, Samuel C137 writes, R.I.P. Akira, again. Yeah, again, this is like the 3rd time. Anyway, so glad to have Taika back. We all know he's the reason we didn't have Thor die or find another way to bow out in Endgame 2. No, I'll be honest with you, I don't agree, Samuel. I never thought he was going to die. I never thought, even if that was going to be his last film for a while, I never thought he was going to die in it. I didn't think Captain America was going to die, and he didn't. I didn't think Iron Man would die. He did. But I never thought Thor was going to die. I thought if anybody, it was going to be either Cap or Tony. And I would have put $5 that neither of them would, but I thought if anybody will, it'll be Cap or Tony. I never really thought it was going to be him. So I honestly don't think that Taika Waititi has anything to do with why they kept him alive. Why burn your bridge? Like, even if they didn't reach a new deal with Chris Hemsworth, why just kill off the character? Just because you don't have a new deal right now doesn't mean you can't make a new deal in 4 years, right? So why kill him off if you don't have to? Just say he's not on World. Say he's elsewhere right now. Doesn't matter. And if he never comes back, he never comes back. But I don't think they ever really need to. I don't think they ever planned on killing him. I could be wrong about that. I don't know that from insider information. That's just my guess. Evelyn writes, does this open the door for a Cap or Iron Man 4? Oh, look, you know my opinion on this. I believe 100%. No insider information, just me as a fan speculating. I believe 100% that both Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans will be back. Maybe not this year, maybe not in 3 years, maybe in 5 years. I don't know, but I believe they're coming back. And I don't think them doing a Thor 4 either positively or negatively affects that chances, because I think it's going to happen anyway. I'm Upset writes, will Thor 4 come out before Guardians 3? Ooh, that's a good question. Now, the thing about Guardians 3 is, even though James Gunn is currently working on Suicide Squad, he's already written the script for Guardians 3. That script's been done for over a year. So he's got his script. But you know what? I hadn't even thought about that. I'm upset. I'm going to guess that Thor 4 will come out before Guardians 3. Yes, I'm going to take a guess that it will come out before Guardians 3. Although if Thor is in Guardians 3, it might be more strategic to have that come out first. Good question. We'll know all on Saturday after the Marvel panel. All right, DMV fan 123 writes, Taika's back and I got a stiffy. Beta Ray Bill, please. You know what? Whenever a Thor related movie's been coming out and people would say to me, do you think there's going to be Beta Ray Bill? I say, I know he's big in the comics, but no, I don't think there's going to be Beta Ray Bill. I've said that all the time. I don't think he's going to be there. It's possible, but I don't think he's going to be there. He's not going to be there. You know what? I think Thor 4 is going to have Beta Ray Bill. I think they're at the point now. It's time. It's Taika Waititi. I think they will. Again, no inside information, and we'll find out for sure on Saturday. Ryan Lohner writes, any chance in hell we'll get an update on Sif this time? That's a good question. I love the Lady Sif character. I've always loved the Lady Sif character. And they've just kind of had her disappear. She's off somewhere doing something. Do I think they'll bring her back? I don't think so. I would love them to, Ryan. Absolutely. I would love them to, but frankly, I don't think they will. Although, wouldn't it be great if they did? Wouldn't it be great if they brought her out on stage at Comic-Con? I don't know. I'm just getting too overly optimistic here. No, bottom line is I don't think they will, but it would be great if they did. All right, Anthony R. writes, exciting news, an OG Avenger is getting a 4th movie. Could this be the start of a new trilogy going back to basics or more Asgardian? It's a wild question and so far too early to tell. Again, I think we're going to get a better picture, not all the details clearly, maybe even not a bunch of details, but we're going to get a clearer picture one way or the other come Saturday when they do their panel at Comic-Con. I think they'll keep them more galactic. I don't think it'll take place on Earth. Again, that's not based on anything. That's just me guessing. But my guess is they'll keep him more galactic. We will find out shortly, though. And maybe we'll be lucky, and it will be the start of a new trilogy. Samuel C137 writes, I believe it was the great President Lincoln who said, Thor 4 and 7 years ago. Sorry, yes, you apologize for that. Thor 4 and 7 years ago. Anyway, Enigma Sword writes, Thor 4 equals Akira delayed indefinitely. Yeah, and that is the word they are using right now, is indefinitely. To quote the Hollywood Reporter story specifically, it says the following. That project, talking about Akira, which was penciled for May 21st, 2021 release and had Waititi testing actors in a worldwide search for talent, is being put on pause indefinitely as the two projects' production dates begin to bump up against one another, so on and so forth, and they go on. So, yeah, I think if this isn't the end of the Akira project completely, and it might be, then I think it's probably the end of Taika Waititi being attached. Because in the report, it doesn't say, and Taika Waititi will then move on and do Akira once it's done. It says, Warner Brothers hopes Waititi will then do Akira 4 after it sounds to me like that's a nice way of saying it's done, but who knows? Maybe I'm just being overly pessimistic. James Welsh writes, hope they explain where the hell Lady Sif is. I agree. I don't think they will. I don't think they need to, but I really would love it if she popped up. That's just me. Andrew Gio Ardano writes, hope Hela comes back in at least a supporting villain role in Thor 4. Can't just wait Cate Blanchett like that. I honestly, Andrew, I got to tell you, brother, I believe that's the absolute wrong way of looking at movies. You do not build characters around an actor. Characters and movies are not there to serve the actors. Actors are there to serve the characters. And you know what? I thought Cate Blanchett was great as Hela in Thor Ragnarok. But you don't go, well, we've got Cate Blanchett, so therefore we have to make our movie fit this actor. I think that's how you come up with bad movies. So while, look, I love Cate Blanchett as Hela. I thought she was great in the role. If the story calls for her to be back, then sure, I'm all for it. But I don't think their motivation should ever be. And I think Kevin Feige is smart enough to know you don't go, well, we got Cate Blanchett, so let's move our story around and just make room to shoehorn her in. You know what I mean? I think that's the wrong approach. So I hope they don't do that, even though I love her in the role. I really do. Mimi Hicks writes, prefer as Guardians of the Galaxy, not Thor 4. I don't think, see, here's the good news, Mimi. I don't think it's either or. Now, James Gunn has already said Guardians 3 is not as Guardians of the Galaxy. He's already confirmed that. That doesn't mean Thor is not a part of it. And the nice thing here is it doesn't have to be one or the other. I think it can be both. I think we're going to get, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong about this. No insider information here. I think we're going to get Thor in Guardians 3 and in Thor 4. But that's just my thought. Mimi Hicks writes, Will Smith is loud. Will his voice lower when old? Again, we're here to talk about Thor 4 right now, maybe. So we'll address that maybe another time. Carmelo Smith writes, I'm here for the title being The Four. Hashtag bring on the filthy. Yep. Nothing to do with Fantastic Four yet, Carmelo, but we'll make sure we jump on that when it does happen. Colby Harris writes, you said, will he be back as Robert Downey's Jr. when talking about the question of the day? I'm not quite sure what we're talking about, the John Campea Show earlier. Anyway, QS Hicks writes, Thor is a difficult IP to nail. Here we are for later. I don't know. I think they've done a pretty good job with it. I mean, other than the little stumble that was Thor: The Dark World, other than that, I think they've done, I thought Thor 1 was magnificent. I thought Thor 3 Ragnarok was great. He was wonderful in Infinity War, wonderful in Endgame. I think they've done pretty well. Jason Dolan writes, over under 80%, Thor 4 is coming May 21st or May 2021. That's when Akira was supposed to come out. Does it actually eat up that release date? It's possible. I mean, look, we're only midway through 2019, right? Theoretically, they roughly have just under 2 years. And if Taika Waititi has actually been on this for a couple of months, remember, they always announce these things weeks or months after the decisions are made. They could be ready to go into production in 8 months. Then production, post-production for, a year, a little over a year and a half. They could. I'm going to take under 80% though, Jason. 80% is too high of a number, so I'm going to take the under on that, even though I do think it's a solid possibility. Wade O'Neill writes, hope Thorbs instead of Forbes. Thorbs magazine doesn't give away spoilers. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm just at the point now that I just assume when a big major movie like this comes out that unfortunately, Forbes is great. I love Forbes, but they do have this nasty habit of dropping major spoilers just in their regular non-spoiler reviews. It's unfortunate they do that. Let's see here. Where are we at? Okay, here we are. QS Hicks writes, best animated film, Toy Story, Thor. Well done, QS. Well done. Connor Dixon writes, first MCU character to have a fourth solo film. Looking forward to it. I have a feeling it's going to be Thor exploring and protecting the galaxy. See, and I kind of agree, Connor. That's why I'm of the belief right now, again, strictly as a speculating fan, I have the belief right now that we're going to see Thor in Guardians 3 and in Thor 4. Look, it's now a fact. It's no longer rumor and speculation and whispers. It's now a fact. Hemsworth signed a new deal, clearly. So why not for Guardians 3, especially with the way Endgame ended? So I got a feeling it will. Again, no guarantee, and I have no information on that. I'm just guessing like everybody else. Let's see. QS Hicks writes, most likely MCU cameos in Thor. None, other than those already associated with the character. Valkyrie, I'm sure will. Korg, all that kind of stuff. But, will we see Doctor Strange? I doubt it. Right now, I'm guessing it's going to be galactic and not based on Earth. But again, I could be totally wrong, and we'll find out more on Saturday. GB Bonifacio writes, Thor 4 as Guardians of the Galaxy. No, I think there's going to be they're two separate films. We know James Gunn is directing one. We know Taika Waititi is directing another. So it's not one in the same film, but I do believe we're going to get both. Although it's not going to be called as Guardians of the Galaxy. It's going to be called Guardians 3, which a lot of us are going to call as Guardians of the Galaxy anyway. Gandrew 10 writes, do you think this will be a passing of the torch, film? Maybe to a Beta Ray Bill or Lady Sif? No. Thor is back. Chris Hemsworth is back. I don't think you sign a new deal with Hemsworth and bring him back in just to do a passing of the torch movie. I don't. I think Thor is back. There is no passing of the torch here. That's what I think. You might be onto something, but right now I'm thinking, nope, he's back. Draco Eris writes, not a fan of Thor Ragnarok. Terrible movie. Oh, hey, listen, that's the subjectivity of film. A lot of us believe it's magnificent. Just fun, energetic, exciting, great humor, great character. Thinks it's absolutely wonderful, but that doesn't mean it's for everybody. And if it didn't work for you, my friend, it didn't work for you. Simple writes, Thor 4 will be Thor's workout routine. It'll be showing him getting back into shape. Come on, you got to start Thor 4, whichever comes first. Guardians 3 or Thor 4, whichever comes first, has to start with a 3-minute workout montage of him over the course of a couple of weeks, like a Rocky Balboa workout montage that ends with him being back in full Thor shape. You got to do it. Warrington Trainspotter 2778 writes, do you think Loki could return as well? Yep. They already brought him back. They brought him back in Endgame, and we've got a Loki series coming. Loki is running around, and yeah. I wouldn't put money on it. But yes, I think Loki will return. Suthius writes, as long as he keeps his long locks and beard, yes. I didn't mind the short hair in Thor Ragnarok. I didn't mind the short hair at all, but I will admit, it was good seeing him back in Endgame with the long hair. It was good seeing him in Endgame with the long hair. I did dig that. Juan Lopez writes, so does this mean your answer to my prediction question has changed after this? Juan, I get like 50 to 75 super chats a day, every single day. My brother, I don't know what your previous thing was. Sorry about that. Josh Angelus writes, is it true that another actor, I think he is Scandinavian, will eventually be the next Thor? I have read it in a couple of places on the internet. Ignore that. Clearly, Chris Hemsworth is now back. So I would ignore any of that. You should have been ignoring it probably anyway. Christian James writes, who will be the villain? King, Thor, Galactus? Oh, who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's not going to be Galactus. We know that. Kevin Feige has already stipulated it's going to be a number of years before they start incorporating that stuff in. So it's not going to be Galactus. But who? No idea. No idea. And ultimately, it's not important. It's important they do the villain great, but who they make that villain is really not all that important right now. As long as whatever villain they choose, that they do him great. Look, Fantastic Four had one of the greatest villains of all time, Doctor Doom, 3 times. Just because you have a great character doesn't mean you execute him well. So to me in the movie, it really doesn't matter all that much. It does a little bit, but it doesn't really matter all that much which villain they pick. As long as they write an excellent character for that villain, then we're good. So we'll see. Ahmed writes, do you think we'll see Loki in Thor 4? I do. I absolutely do. Like, again, I wouldn't put money on it, but I feel pretty confident that we'll probably see. I mean, he's back again anyway. We know he's alive, so there we go. Suthius writes, curious as to what is left of Thor's story. Hey, listen, we've got 50 years of Thor comic books. I mean, decades and decades and decades and decades of Thor comic book. We've only had 3 movies for him. So yeah, there's a lot more adventures and stories that you can do with it. There's a hell of a lot. And remember, at the end of Endgame, he's kind of at a new stage 1. He's kind of found himself, again, at the end of Endgame. So I think there's a lot of places you can go with him. Let's see. QS6, final Thor pun. I'm hella excited. Well, you know what, QS, I'll let you go on that one because I'm hella excited too. Suthius writes, can't imagine Thor movie without Loki resurrected. He doesn't have to be resurrected. He's already back. They brought Loki back in Endgame. It doesn't matter that but he's from a different time. It doesn't matter. He's back. He's back. So, yeah. So again, I'm not putting money on it and I'm not guaranteeing, but in my inner jellies, I believe we are going to see Loki in Thor 4. I don't think he's going to be the big bad guy, but I am believing we're going to see him back. Let's see. Coolsome XD writes, who are they making Thor 4 for? Thor 4. Say that many times. All of us. They're making it for all of us who are excited about this news. Let's see. Where are we at? Just rounding up the last few ones here, guys. Run Amok Design writes, just joining, not sure if this has been said. Yes! Will we see Chubby Thor? I mean, it's possible, but I believe they're just going to get him back. Because remember, time will have passed. Whether it's a few months or a year or 2 years, time will have passed from the end of Endgame to wherever we pick up with Thor 4. And I believe you start that movie with a Rocky-style workout montage of him over the course of a few weeks. You do it in like 90 seconds. Over the course of a few months, him working out and getting back into his, Norse godlike shape. Evelyn writes, hopefully Thor's roommate Daryl can make an appearance. Yes, I want. Oh my God. Do you know how happy I'd be? Because remember, Taika Waititi directed those Thor Daryl roommate shorts online. And if you've never seen the Thor's roommate Daryl sketches on YouTube, go look them up. They're gold. Taika Waititi did those. So, you know what? I didn't even think about it, Evelyn, but now you just made my heart happy because I'm thinking we might see Daryl pop up in a small cameo, but I think we might see Daryl pop up. Just Plain Steve writes, no Asgard, no Loki, no Odin, no Infinity Stones. Very excited for the possibilities of where a truly standalone Thor story can go. Yeah, look, I do believe Loki will be in there one way or the other. Whether it's to pop up for a second or be a significant character or whatever it is, I believe he'll be a part of it, but not major. It is going to be interesting to see him. There's no Asgard, although there is a new Asgard back on Earth, but maybe they move it somewhere. No Odin, no Infinity Stones. I mean, again, it goes back to what we were saying earlier, Just Plain Steve. They can literally go anywhere with this story now. With the way Endgame ended, him kind of new fresh start for me. And with Taika back, I really, it's the sky's the limit. They can do anything here. Suthius writes, you can say Loki is always a Thor. Come on, guys. Don't worry about Thor in his... Loki is always a Thor in his side. You could say that. I won't. Mike Thompson writes, whenever this movie comes out, I will be there that opening Thor... Oh, jeez. It keeps coming. I will be there that opening Thursday night. I need a large Coke to make sure I don't get too thirsty throughout. Oh, my God. There's going to be more, isn't there? I can just tell. There's going to be more Thursday night. I do like that, though. Christian Borges writes, I'm just excited for the sweet new haircut Taika's going to give Thor this time, like they gave him in Ragnarok. Again, I mean, you could. And for me, the short hair actually worked. But I did like seeing him back with the traditional Thor hair. I'm going to kind of lean towards I hope he keeps it. I hope he keeps it. But if they don't, I'm sure it'll be good anyway. Okay, last couple of questions here, guys. Coolsome XD writes, I'm excited. I just wanted to say Thor for 4. There you go. Thor for 4. Warrington Trainspotter 2778 writes, just imagine Hall H if Chris Hemsworth or Tom Hiddleston comes out on stage. Will Rob be able to control himself? Dude, I won't be able to control myself. And I think they will. I think they're going to I think this might be the most explosive Marvel panel ever. Because they're going to talk about all these movies that are coming, none of which are official yet other than Black Widow. And I think they're going to bring out James Gunn, considering it was last year's Comic-Con where the big announcement came out that they had fired him, and now he's back to bring him out on stage. Oh my God, the place is going to explode. They're going to bring out Chris Hemsworth, another explosion. They're going to bring out Taika Waititi, another explosion. It's going to be insane. And now the last one, Nerd Guy turns on Immigrant Song to celebrate. Why didn't I think of that? I should have had the immigration song set up, queued up here to play. I should have totally done that. That song is now totally and forever synonymous with Thor in my head. Anyway, guys, that does it for this little quick special breaking news thing. It is now official. Taika Waititi is back. He is writing and directing, and officially now on the books, Thor 4. No official release date given yet, but considering they have indefinitely postponed Akira, it could be going into motion very quickly. For all we know, Taika Waititi may have been writing the script for this for the last couple of months that we just don't know. Also, he's got that, I think it's called Jojo Rabbit. Is that what he's got coming out here soon? Jojo Rabbit? Or is it No, it is. It's Jojo Rabbit. He's got his, Taika Waititi's got his Jojo Rabbit movie coming out soon, but he's done shooting that. That's done. So they could be going full steam ahead. I expect lots of information. Maybe not all the information, but I expect to get a lot more information come Saturday at Marvel's Comic-Con panel. And we'll be doing a live video after that panel is done to talk about all the news that got revealed there. All right, guys, what do you think about the officialness of Thor 4 is coming with Taika Waititi back writing and directing? I'm really excited about it. Now, me and Robert are going to talk about this on the John Campea Show again tomorrow. So tune in then for Robert's thoughts as well. Guys, thanks for sharing your thoughts. I'm excited. I know you're excited. Don't forget to join us again for tomorrow for the John Campea Show, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you come and join us there. And hey, guys, speaking of Comic-Con, just for those of you guys who have not heard, of course, my annual panel, the Masters of the Web panel, this year's theme, after Endgame, where does the comic book genre go from here? I've got myself, Fanboys director Kyle Newman, from Film Threat and the old G4 days, Chris Gore, and of course, Schmodown creator Christian Harloff are going to be there. And of course, Robert Meyer Burnett is going to be moderating the panel this year. If you're going to be at Comic-Con, it's Friday at 11 a.m. at the Neil Morgan Auditorium at the Public Library there. Make sure you come and join us then. All right, guys, that will do it for me for now. Thanks for being here. My name's John Campea, and until our next video, bye-bye.